Today I'll be going through a thread by the Bitcoin therapist talking about a country that is positioned to completely reshape the Bitcoin landscape. When you think of India, images like these might come to mind. You may think of over-the-top action and elaborate dance numbers. But beyond Bollywood, there's a massive demand for scarce, hard, and sound money. This thread, published by the BTC Therapist, is authored by Vivek4Real_. Bitcoin Therapist starts out by saying, a nation known for its profound love for gold is on the verge of a massive transformation. This is not just a hint of bullish sentiment, but roaring signal. India is Bitcoin country, but Indians do not know it yet. Historically, India's love for gold is unparalleled. Indian families hold 25,000 plus tons of gold. That is 10% of the world's total physical gold. This is not just a cultural affinity, it's a deep-rooted financial tradition. Gold in India is much more than a valuable metal. It is deeply intertwined with the country's culture, traditions, and social customs. Gold is central to celebrations and rituals, from weddings to religious ceremonies. Families often pass down gold through the generations, ensuring financial stability and providing a safety net. This hoarding is not just about possession, it's about preserving wealth across generations, a golden legacy, if you will. This same sentiment of passing generational wealth down from you to your kin and to the next of kin and so on and so forth is something that we're seeing talked about more in the Bitcoin space. This is something that has been done since time immemorial. People have passed down what they have to their young ones and their loved ones all throughout time. But it's usually happened in the form of real estate, stocks and bonds, sometimes collectibles, and yes, definitely gold. And as we move more and more into this digital era, people will be looking less at hard physical things, and I mean hard in a sense that they're bricks and stones and gold are hard, and more towards things that have those same properties of hardness like Bitcoin does. In 2021, Indians purchased an unprecedented $80 billion worth of gold, solidifying India's position as home to the world's largest gold market. Households in this diverse nation, on average, hold about 20 grams of gold. Gold mining in India also traces back over 5,000 years. Moreover, until the 20th century, gold was currency in India. If we apply the gold mindset to Bitcoin, imagine the possibilities. India, a nation that understands the value of finite assets, is primed for hyper-Bitcoinization. Bitcoin is a digital asset that shares many qualities with gold. It is scarce, durable, and portable. It is also a decentralized asset, not subject to government or financial institution control. These similarities make Bitcoin a natural fit for the Indian market. It resonates with the same principles that made gold popular, but with the added appeal of being thoroughly modern and tech-forward. Now, there's one very obvious thing that gold has that Bitcoin does not. Gold has the property of being a tangible physical thing. And you might counter that with, well, hodl sapien, how do we know that the gold we're wearing is actually gold? It could be tungsten, it could be something else plated with gold. And fair enough, you're totally right there. But it doesn't change the fact that you can make jewelry out of this thing, gold or whatever else is in there, and wear it and show, hey, look, I've got a bunch of this metal, whatever the metal is. But Bitcoin has none of those properties. That is a pro in many cases, but it's also a con in some other cases. The reason I'm making this distinction is because as I go through this thread, what I want you to think about is not that India would go, let's get rid of all of our gold and completely go to Bitcoin. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. What makes more sense to me is, hey, let's allocate some of our savings, some of our wealth into Bitcoin as an additional way to secure our generational wealth, as opposed to going so hard into only gold as we have done before. And that is exactly the kind of shift that we want to see. People seeing the benefits of Bitcoin and going, let's get off zero. Let's put some portion, whether that's 1%, 10%, 50%, whatever that percentage is that somebody's comfortable with, they take that and put it into Bitcoin as opposed to these other traditional assets like gold. The tech boom in India is fueling this interest. With a vast pool of talented engineers, India is a hotbed for innovation in Bitcoin. This is not just a trend, but a fundamental shift towards a new financial paradigm. India is vibrant with a pool of 4.36 million IT professionals. On the point of tech and IT professionals, I've got an article here from the Harvard Business Review. India is in a global sweet spot. It is now the world's most populous country. I actually didn't know that. I thought China still was. Home to more than 1.4 billion people and has had robust economic growth for the past 3 decades, with GDP per capita having risen by 245%, and yet it remains relatively underdeveloped on a global scale. As of 2019, just 4 years ago, more than 600 million people in India live on less than $3.65 a day. Thus, there remains enormous potential for economic growth and improvements in human welfare, I should say so. And as the United States' concerns about China grow, India shines as a promising alternative in supply chains, innovation hubs, and joint ventures. As the world's largest democracy with an increasingly open economy and a strong technology sector, it has the potential to operate at scale. All right, let's tie this all together. You've got 600 million people in India, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 40% more than all of the United States, living on less than $4 a day. Now that is sad in one sense, but it also points to a massive ceiling. If their economic floor is way down here, then the ceiling is way up here. They have so much room to grow. And as more tech pours into India, and as this Harvard article points out, the strained relationship between the US and China is getting wacky, to say the least, you're going to have the US looking to other places that can produce these same things that they have gotten from China. Now, with tech booming in India, this brings us back around to the BTC therapist thread. India is going digital, with 500 million smartphone users and UPI transactions exceeding 1 trillion in 2022. This digital payments landscape is fertile ground for Bitcoin adoption. It's like a nationwide runway, and Bitcoin is ready for takeoff. Bitcoin has the potential to disrupt the gold market in India. Bitcoin is a more efficient and secure way to store value and is also more portable, I should say so. Considering India's population of 1.4 billion people, even a small percent saving in Bitcoin can substantially impact the global market. Now, this next bit that we're going to touch on gets a little bit, dare I say, woo-woo, but I like this kind of stuff. I like the kind of stuff that has connections, and you go, that's interesting. This right here, Sat, has a very profound historical and deeper meaning in India. It has served its purpose throughout humanity. The average Joe and Jane is not stacking whole coins. That's something that the sailors of the world are doing. But you and I are typically stacking Sats. And here we've got some connections, some woo-woo, some metaphysical, some esoteric, interesting stuff here with Sat. Sat has been a standard for a long time in India, and it will continue to be this way in the Bitcoin world. Sat, Sanskrit, is the root of many Sanskrit words and concepts as sattva, pure, truthful, and satya, truth. The Sanskrit root sat has several meanings or translations. 1. Absolute truth. 2. Reality. 3. Brahman, not to be confused with Brahmin. 4. Unchangeable. 5. That which has no distortion. 6. That which is beyond distinctions of time, space, and person. 7. That which pervades the universe in all its constancy. Now that's the kind of stuff that makes my skin tingle and my back go, ooh, there's something there. And you, on the other hand, might be the kind of person that goes, meh, it's interesting, it's nothing more, it's like a horoscope or something like that. And maybe it is. But it is really interesting that this word, sat, that we're constantly using in the Bitcoin space has such deep cultural meanings. And that those meanings are things like absolute truth, unchangeable, that which is beyond distinctions of time, space, and person. Boy, I don't know of a better description of sat than that. Closing out, in conclusion, India's love for gold is evolving into a potential obsession with Bitcoin. As big transformation in a nation as large as India is not just bullish, it's ultra-bullish. Get ready for an exciting ride as India embraces the era of Bitcoin. And as a closing thought, I don't know who associated orange with the Bitcoin and orange and gold, but if that was accidental, that's another amazing coincidence. I don't think it was accidental because very few things in this world are accidents.